In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to build a highly effective resume so that you can get the job that you want. Hi, I'm Rich Blazevich, and I'm the Career Center Manager here at the Collin College McKinney campus. And this lesson is designed to show you step-by-step how to build a resume. First of all, what I wanted to do is talk about what is a resume. And a resume is a marketing document designed to show that you're a good fit for a job. It's also a narration of your relevant skills, experiences, education, and accomplishments for a specific type of job. And I highlighted relevant and specific type of job for a reason. A resume is designed to communicate why you're a good fit for a job. So you need to know what the job is so that you know what to put on your resume. And I'll go through that in this lesson. And then finally, it's designed to convince an employer to give you a job interview. Typically, the steps in a hiring process are the employer is going to want you to apply for the job. They're going to look at your resume. They're going to decide whether or not they should interview you. And if your resume is good, they're more likely to want to interview you. And then they'll interview you and decide if you're going to get a job offer. A resume is not a list of every job you've ever had. It should just be a list of the relevant jobs you've had for the job that you want to get. It's not a list of all the education that you've ever had. It should simply be your latest education and any education you have related to the type of job you want. And it's not an artistic representation of who you are. A fancy, stylized resume with pretty graphics and bright colors typically doesn't work. Most employers don't want to see that. If the employer asks you for a fancy resume, great, you can do that. But if an employer doesn't ask you, just give them a simple, clear resume that's easy for them to read. And I'll show you examples of simple, clear resumes so you know how to build a resume that will appeal to employers. Now, here is the structure of a really well-written resume. It should be one page. Typically, you don't need more than one page. If a job description is fairly short and fairly direct, you should be able to communicate the relevant skills you have in one page. It should have clearly labeled sections so employers know where to find the content on it. It should be a legible font size. I've seen resumes that have teeny tiny fonts and it's very difficult to read. A good rule of thumb on the font size is it should be about 11-point font. It should be 300 to 400 words. If it's less than that, it looks like you might not have enough qualified relevant experience. If it's more than that, it may look like you can't prioritize what should be on the resume and what shouldn't. And make sure that you have correct spelling, you have correct punctuation, and you proofread it very carefully. Here's the content that should be on almost every resume, and I would argue every resume, but this is what you should absolutely put on your resume. Your contact information, a summary of who you are and what kind of job you're looking for, your education, your experience, locations and dates. So employers want to know the time frames that you worked at certain places or the time frames that you were getting your education, and then any relevant skills you have. Optional sections include, you might include relevant coursework. If you have a really high GPA, you might include that. If you're a member of a relevant professional association or attended conferences or competitions or gave presentations, if you've done any publications, if you've written anything that's been published, if you've recorded videos that have been published, you can include that. And then if you have a relevant personal website or your LinkedIn profile is really good, you can include that, but you don't need to include those things. The things on the left are things you absolutely should include. The things on the right are completely optional. The first step in designing your resume is to figure out what kind of content you should put on it. And the best place to look for content is a job description for the type of job you want. So if you want to be a project manager, you want to list your duties and skills related to a project manager. If you want to be a nurse, then you should understand what a nursing job description looks like. If you want to be an auto mechanic, or you want to be an engineer, or you want to be an English teacher, whatever you want to do, make sure you read a job description for that type of job. And then on your resume, put the relevant experience and skills you have related to that job. And use the keywords that are on the job description. And I'll explain why. But basically what that means is read the job description, look for words that look like they're important to the employer. And then if you've done anything related to those words, put those words on your resume. The main reason for doing this is the way computers review resumes, they're looking for keywords. And more often than not, when you submit a resume, that will go into an application process, and a computer will look at your resume and see if it looks like you're qualified to do the job. And the way a computer does this is they scan the job description, they scan your resume, and they try and determine how good of a fit your resume is for that job description. So if you don't have any of the words that are in the job description on your resume, chances are the computer is going to say, oh, this person doesn't fit because their experience doesn't match the job description. That's why it's important to put keywords from the job description onto your resume. If a computer decides, yes, this person looks like they may be qualified, then the computer will typically pass the resume on to a hiring manager. The hiring manager will scan through the resume, and they're looking for what's your education, what's your experience, and they might just scan it very quickly. So they'll just glance through it, look for specific things. And if it looks like you're a good fit based on when they're scanning it, then they might invite you in for an interview. So what goes on your resume is the content that is your contact information, because you want them to be able to reach you, your professional summary that describes who you are and what kind of job you want, your education, your experience, leadership, and service. So this is things that you've done that you want to highlight that might not have been part of an employment situation. So it could be volunteer opportunities, could be if you're a member of a student organization or an athletic team or something else that you want to include on your resume. And then additional information are any other skills and qualifications you have. So let's do a warm-up exercise to get you started. I want you to download the worksheet labeled worksheet number 1, and we're going to fill it out. This should be a fairly quick exercise, so it'll get you warmed up. And the first thing I want you to do is put in the type of job that you want. So if you want a job in marketing, write down marketing there. If you don't know what kind of job you want, then I invite you to schedule an appointment with me. We can do a identify your job skill or your occupation appointment, and I can show you step by step how to choose an occupation that'll be a good fit for you. So just use the QR code that's on the screen, scan it in, it'll take you to my appointment app. You can schedule an appointment and we can identify the type of job that you want. Once you know what type of job that you want, I want you to go to a website called onetonline.org. And in the top right corner, you're going to see a search bar. Just type in that type of job. So in this example, I type in the word marketing, and that pulls up a list of occupations that include the word marketing, either in the job title or the job description. So if I was interested in marketing, let's say I want to learn more about marketing managers, I click on that, and that takes me to a page that lists relevant skills, relevant tasks, relevant duties, everything I might want to know about a marketing manager job. So if I want to apply for this type of a job, I'm doing my research so I know what to put on my resume. The first step I recommend is scroll down until you get to the section that says skills and look at the skills, and any of those skills that you have, write them on the worksheet. So if you're a critical thinker, or if you're an active listener, or you're good at public speaking, or you've got good reading comprehension, list those on the worksheet, and then we'll use that content to put on your resume. Next, look for the section called tasks. And that section is actually near the top of the page. And that will show you the tasks that a person in that occupation typically does. And when an employer is looking at a resume, they like to see examples of experiences you've had related to the occupation that you're applying for or the job that you're applying for. So for any of the tasks that are on that job description, list those on your worksheet. And then we're going to take that information and put it on your resume. So now that you've finished that worksheet, that's the end of our warm-up exercise. It's time to start actually building your resume. When you're done, I would love it if your resume looked this good, this easy to read, this effective. This is a highly effective resume format that computers can read and people can read and find content they're looking for. The organization, the sections again, are contact information, professional summary, education, experience, leadership and service, additional information. So let's go through those one at a time. Before we do that, I want you to download the second worksheet, and this is going to be your resume writing worksheet, and we're going to fill it in. So if you want to print it out, you can print it out and fill it in by hand. If you want to just enter the content on the document that you download, you can enter it on that document. So let's start filling it out. The first section on this page is the professional summary. And let me read you this professional summary so you can see what a good professional summary should include. This one says, motivated college student with aptitude for project management, collaboration, and solving complex problems, seeking assistant office manager position in Collin County or surrounding area. So if I'm an employer and I read that, I know exactly what you're looking for, and I know whether or not you might be a good fit for the job. So it should include your most important attribute. Are you motivated, compassionate, detail-oriented? What's the one thing that really describes you well? What's your current position? It might be college student. It might be the job you're currently working in. What's your most relevant skill? So you remember that warm-up exercise where you looked at the occupation summary and it listed skills. What are the skills you have related to the occupation you want? What is the position you want? Do you want an office manager, a nurse, a marketing manager, a construction manager, an electrician? Like, what's the job you want them to hire you for? And what's your preferred location? This could be Collin County, it could be North Dallas area, it could be McKinney, it could be wherever you want your job to be located. And go ahead and fill in that section on the worksheet. So write down your key attributes, write down your current position, just fill it in so that you can transfer it to your resume later. Next, once you've filled that section in, let's go to your education section. The education is simply what organization are you getting your education in? So for most of you, that'll be Collin College. What location, and that's the main campus that you study at. So that could be McKinney, Texas, Frisco, Plano, wherever you take most of your classes. The degree program, so put the degree you're working towards, and that could be Associates of Art, Associates of Science, Associates of Applied Science. It could be a certificate program, but go ahead and list that degree and then put the date you anticipate getting it. So the month and the year. So it could be May 2023, it could be December 2022, whenever you anticipate completing your education. And then if you're in any activities, list them, that's optional. If you have a high GPA, list that. And by high, usually 3.5 or better, you should put on your resume. If your GPA isn't that high, then you can leave it off your resume. So go ahead and write that information on your worksheet so that you have it captured on your worksheet. And once you've done that, we'll move on to the experience section. In the experience section, what you want to include is the name of the organization where you worked, the location you worked, the job title you had, the starting and ending timing, so the month and year that you started the job and the month and year that you ended the job. And if you're still in the job, you can just say current. And then list some of the tasks that you did while you were in that job. So if you design social media campaigns, or if you file documents, or if you created timelines, whatever you did, list that. Ideally, this should be related to the job description. So you remember that warm-up exercise, you captured tasks that related to the job you want. If you have done any of those tasks, put them here in your experience section on your resume. And then if you got any results from completing the tasks, list the results there as well. Now, go ahead and enter that information on your worksheet and do it for every job you've had that has given you experience related to the job that you want. So what you'll notice is there are 2 pages on the worksheet, and each page has 2 sections for experience. So you can list up to 4 occupations, 4 jobs that you've done, or you can also put in your leadership and community service in one of those 4 sections. But the format should be the same: organization, city, state, job title, start and end date, and then a list of duties for each of the jobs or other experiences you've had. Go ahead and fill in that section. Under leadership and community service, it's the same thing. It's the same format. Go ahead and use that to capture all the information about any clubs you've been in that seem relevant, any other experiences you've had that relate to the job you want, and then put that under the experience section, either on the first page or the second page of the worksheet. And then the final section on the worksheet is the additional information. And this is everything else that an employer might be interested in. So it includes technical skills, like what kind of computer skills do you have, other skills. And remember, on the warm-up exercise, I had you list skills that you had that related to the job you want. this is where you would put them, is under other skills. Other qualifications, so if you have certifications, if you've taken online classes, if you're fluent in another language, go ahead and put that under other qualifications, and then include a few interests. So the interests can be things like, do you like to travel? Do you like cooking? Do you like to work out? Do you like outdoor activities? What's something that if the employer just wanted to make small talk with you, you could talk about, and that would give them something to talk about. Go ahead and fill in that section, the final section in the worksheet. And that way you've got all the content you need on the worksheet to build your resume. And then it's simply a matter of take all that content on that worksheet and transfer it over into a Microsoft Word document. So in the course materials, you should see a third document, which is a resume template. That template has information in there for a make-believe student. I want you to replace the content in that template with the content for your resume by taking what's on the worksheet and just typing it into that template, saving the template, and that will be your resume. Now, one thing I didn't cover is contact information. So at the top of your resume, you should include your contact information. It should be your name, and it should be big and bold and right at the top. Your street address is optional. Some people don't like to include their address for privacy reasons. So you can choose to include it. You can choose to just include the city and state. I do recommend you include the city and state. And that way an employer knows where you're located. Include your phone number so they can contact you, as well as your email address. And then if you have a good LinkedIn profile or you have a good personal website, then you can include that as well. So here are a few final tips and next steps. First of all, when you're writing your resume, make sure your resume matches the job you want. So include the tasks that you've done related to that job, include the skills that you have. So just research the job description, and that will help you do that. Next, what I want you to do is include any relevant experiences, include keywords from the job description, write it using action verbs, include it all in one page. Your resume shouldn't be more than one page, and then proofread it, edit it, proofread it again. If you have any questions, if you need any help, please schedule an appointment with me. I love helping students write their resumes, and typically in less than an hour, we can create a really good resume for you. So make the appointment, come on into the McKinney Career Center, and I can help you with your resume. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's the information you need, and now you're ready to write your winning resume.